What's up, you guys? Good morning, good evening, whatever applies to you. Hope you're staying safe. And today, I'm going to talk about my first pornography experience. And quick disclaimer, this is not a video where I talk about my experiences with the production end of pornography because I've never been on the production end of pornography. I was lucky enough to not be on the production end of such horrific industry, but however, I was on the consumer end. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about the exact experience I've had, the landscape and all that stuff about that experience. As you can see, I don't have anything on the board because I don't need to write anything on the board in order to be able to explain this. So the first experience of mine, it wasn't something really complex. It wasn't something really magical. It was rather straight down to the point video. The pretty much vanilla stuff, as you guys wanna call it. So it was from somebody else's phone, and he was, someone I was really closely tied to at that point, and he was like, he brought that to me, and he was like, dude, this is the shit. So I watched this thing, right? It was basically about 8 minutes long. It was a series of shorts of a video that's originally like 40 plus minutes long, and I watched that video in full later down my journey. I remember feeling disgusted and disturbed watching this thing, and it was a video where how do I say it without violating YouTube guidelines? Oh, okay. Where this guy puts his dingly dang dang into that girl's mouth hole and did this partial range of motion hip hinges while holding onto the girl's head. So that's the sort of thing that I witnessed for the first time in my life. So I felt pretty disturbed, pretty disgusted, and like I explained in the previous video, like I touched upon in the previous video, nothing about that felt natural. And it was apparent to me that the woman in that video was not having fun whatsoever. She looked like she was about to empty her stomach into the set right before they cut the scene, right? So basically, in those industries, there are certain people who just clean up the set in case something like that happened. And believe me, that kind of stuff happens a lot. That's not all that rare, right? So she looked like that, and in that moment, I felt like extremely disgusted, extremely disturbed to a point where I just emptied my stomach into the bus that I was in. I was going on a trip, like I mentioned in the previous video. And then I remember, like, everyone was looking at me like, what are you, a softie? That kind of vibe, I got that kind of vibe. And it was the equivalent of someone calling another person who can't drink whatsoever a lightweight, right? That was the kind of vibe that I got from those people. Then I got the bus to be stopped, and then I went to a public restroom. Like I didn't have any need to go to a public restroom, but I wanted to fake it, right? So I went to this restroom and came back, pretending like I had a stomach bug. And my excuse to the boys around me was something along the lines of, I had a stomach bug early in the morning, and the motion sickness got to me, something along the lines of that, right? I had to fake it because, like I mentioned in the previous video, my alpha card was on the line, and all that was just to protect my alpha card, right? Just to protect my alpha card, which is, like I said in my previous video of this series, the most useless and the most detrimental achievement I've had in my life, right? So I had to come up with something to protect my alpha card And also, here's the worst part. This is the worst part, right? Then after I threw my guts out, I had to keep watching that because I wanted to prove to everyone else that I'm worthy of every bit of alpha that I'm gonna get. And was it stupid? Yeah, obviously it was, right? Was it lame? Also yes, it was lame. It was lame, and it was like I said, it was a lame thing to do. And was it beta? Was I a beta doing that? I was more like a delta doing that, really. And also, do I regret that? Also, yes, I do regret wasting away half of my life due to pornography addiction, and that's why I don't want anyone else to go down this route, right? That's why I'm putting out these videos. That's why I want to educate people to not make the same mistake that I made throughout the past like dozen plus years. If I learned anything from this, that would be that that would be the fact that there's no shortcuts to be alpha, right? There's no shortcuts to achieve anything that's worth having, for that matter, right? If you want to be an alpha, you're going to have to work, you're going to have to practice, you're going to have to train yourself to be an alpha. And that, my friend, is going to be a hard process, and you're not going to enjoy most of it. You're not going to enjoy the initial couple of weeks, you're not going to enjoy the build up to being alpha, but it's worth every bit of your effort. Just keep that in mind. And with that being said, I'm going to end the video right here. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. Until next time, I'm High Value Guy, and may the triple gen bless you.